All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. Welcome, 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 welcome. I guess to the first knee-jerk reaction show, I guess, of the 2025 season. Even though I didn't title it that way, and it's preseason, so I probably won't title it that way until the actual season starts. But welcome, guys. Quick show for you guys tonight. And seriously, I mean it tonight. Real quick, just wanted to jump in really quick, man. And then we talk a little bit about what we saw tonight. Hold on, guys. Give me a second. I forgot to share this out with a few people. Hold on, guys. Hold on. And if you guys hear any background noise, please excuse it, man. My son is in the opposite that wall here in the still basement as well, playing the Oculus. So he could be rather loud. But let's get to it. So, first and foremost, guys, let's say hello to the early commenters. And like I said, I'm not going to spend a lot of time tonight. We just in and out, guys. What's happening to my man Daron in the building? My man Y Diggy, my man, the master of music. My man, Mark Cunningham is in the building as well. Who else is up in here early, man? My guy, Ollie Howard in the building. Smitty753. What up, Smitty? My man Smitty's in the building, man. He talks a little bit here about Darnell Washington. Let me just read that real quick. He says, I learned that Darnell Washington is going to be a problem if you might have the best tight end group in the league. Yeah, man, listen, if we can get him going, holy moly, I'm going to talk about it. Steeler Cards in the building. CT Pittman, my guy, in the building. Lawrence Holcomb in the building. And Larissa Weaver says, hey, Larissa, I'm only going off of the name. I know some names are unisex, but I'm going to make an assumption that you're perhaps or possibly a lady listener. And hold on, guys, man, let me turn this. I got to get my settings back right on my camera. Hold on, guys. There we go. I think we're good right there. So we always like to say hello to our lovely ladies of Steeler Nation. We treat you like royalty. We treat you with care. So I'm going to assume that unless you tell me otherwise. So hello, Larissa. Appreciate you coming through. Who else we got in here? Solo Dolo Kai. All right. And Steelers Cards. My guy, Steeler Cards. So, all right, guys, let's get into it. And she, thank you, Larissa. She says yes. So hello, Miss Lady. We appreciate you coming through. We're going to dive in. I'm going to be very brief tonight. Very, very brief. Y'all know what I normally do with my knee-jerk reaction shows. Typically, I kind of talk a little bit about the first defensive series, also the first offensive drive. So I will do that a little bit tonight. I didn't document each and every play like I normally do. It's kind of just an overview. So let's jump into that. The Jags opened the game with their starting offense. So I wanted to make note of that. Jacksonville Jaguars were out there with their starters against our defense that did not have Cam Hayward, did not have Alex Highsmith, did not have TJ Watt, did not have Patrick Queen, did not have Jalen Ramsey, did not have Joy Porter Jr., did not have Big Play Slay. Who else? Did not have Deshaun Elliott. So I definitely wanted to make sure I made note of that. They came out in there starting offense. I wrote here that Beanie Bishop makes a good play on Travis Hunter. It was that like third and 4, something like that. He was able to tackle Travis Hunter just short of the yardage. But then he does get ran over by my guy, De'Ami Brown, man. And I don't know if Kenyon is in here, but Kenyon knows how much I was a fan of De'Ami Brown, coming out of school. And De'Ami Brown is now a Jacksonville Jaguar. So if you guys remember, they ran kind of a little jet sweep action to De'Ami Brown on the 4th and 1, and Beanie Bishop got ran over. Beanie Bishop is not the biggest guy, man. He's a bit undersized out there, just scrappy. But anyway, I wanted to highlight he made a great play on Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter being a slippery guy, so good tackling him short of the sticks. but also Juan Thornhill, woo-wee. Juan Thornhill with a big shot on Brian Thomas, the very next play for the PBU. And I talked about here how Jack Sawyer had a nice tackle on Lawrence to hold him to just 3 yards on that drive, and then the Steelers were able to eventually hold them to a field goal. I got to throw a few round applauses out here, guys. I didn't want to miss my guy, infamous Tim, for the Wonder Bread. I appreciate that, brother. Round of applause. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, infamous Tim. He says, maybe he is a real person. Shout out Roman. Yeah, because, Tim was poking fun at him, man, the other day. So, yeah, Roman Wilson, man, showed up a little bit tonight. Short stint, but showed up early. But that's pretty much my my overview, man, of the defense. Like I said, I think it was very good. I'm even sitting there telling my wife as she's watching, I was like, hey, that's a relatively good drive considering the fact that the Steelers nowhere close to their starting defense is out there, and they're going against the Jags starting offense. So that was a good drive or a series to hold them to just a field goal. Round of applause to my guy, CT Pittman, man, a member of the channel for 13 months. My man, CT, I appreciate you, brother. Yes, he says, did you see the pressure Derek Harmon was getting? I sure did. Yeah, he going to be a problem too. Yeah, man, he was. I want to say I texted that to Kenyon during the game. I'm not 100% sure, but I want to say I did. And hold on, guys. Let me shoot the link to Kenyon and Tony as well. They may not be aware that I was doing a show, so let me just shoot that to them in case Kenyon pops in and wants to give some thoughts and opinion. But absolutely did, man. Derek Harmon, again, guys, if you watch football the same way I watch football, it's not always about if they made the play, if they got the tackle, if they got the sack. Are they disruptive? And I wrote in my notes, my very first note right here, after I talk about the offense, I talked about Derek Harmon, just a very quick note. But let me get into the offense. First offensive series, guys, the Steelers opened up with play action. Mason Rudolph finds Roman Wilson for a 19-yard gain. Great to see that. They come right back and run another play action play. And I didn't write every single play down as I normally would in the regular season. I just got a high-level overview. But I wanted to notate that we started off with back-to-back play action plays. So in my opinion, it's good to see that because it's kind of off script to what you've normally seen from the Steelers, right? I like that. Really like that. And they were successful plays. We did get called for illegal hands to the face by Troy Fautanu. In my second watch of the game, I'm going to have to go back. By Tuesday, I will have watched it again. I'll watch the condensed version and really kind of look at the offensive line, look at Fautanu, look at Broderick Jones, and just kind of see, how these guys are playing for the duration of the time that they play. But definitely wanted to at least notate that Fautanu was called for illegal hands to the face. So definitely want to make sure we're playing cleaner than that. But the Steelers were running a lot of play action. So that was an additional note. Not only did they open it up with that, they ran play action quite a bit more on that first drive. And then eventually Mason Rudolph finds Darnell Washington for the touchdown. And Washington gets the unnecessary, penalty of dunking the ball over the goalpost. So he kind of gets the, what do you call it? What's that penalty? Unsportsmanlike conduct. But all in all, man, I thought it was a very clean drive. Like I said, a good mixed bag from Arthur Smith, throwing into play action and things like that, and us taking shots down the field. That play to Darnell Washington was not a play action. It was just a drop back. We get Washington in the seam, and that's what's important. Seeing Darnell Washington in the seam. Just imagine that connection, Aaron Rodgers to Washington. He uses the tight end. So just imagine if we are now finally going to use Darnell Washington in the seam, even if it is in the red zone, that was like a longer version of the red zone, right? Because I think it was about a 17, 18-yard strike, whatever it was. It wasn't like we were on the 5. if we are going to start using Darnell Washington in the seams, yeah, he could be a serious problem. He could be a serious problem. So that's my overview of the first drive. Now, like I said, guys, this is going to be a very quick show, man. And for the most part, I'm kind of just going to, spend a little time with you guys, seeing what you guys liked and didn't like. So I'm just going to get to my quick notes, very quick notes. Derek Harmon looked strong. But hold on, let me interrupt myself once again. I got to give a round of applause to my guy, Wyatt Diggy. Look at this. 46 months as a member of the extended family, a joined member of the channel. Couldn't appreciate you more, my brother. Round of applause. Yeah, he says pretty much the same thing. He says throwing at the middle of the field and attacking the seams. Seems like that might work. Wonder what took them so long is what he's trying to say there. Look, autocorrect might have got him. But I think he's saying, wonder what took him so long. Laugh out loud. I have no idea, Diggy. I really don't, man. I don't know if it was. It's hard to say it was the quarterback because, again, that was Mason Rudolph that did it. So it kind of sounds like it was the coordinator, holding back. You know what I mean? But we have to attack the middle of the field. I mean, what is the point of having a mismatch or mismatches in the tight end position if you're not going to attack the seams? What is the point? What would Travis Kelce be if he didn't attack the seams, if he didn't work the middle of the field? You see what I'm saying? Dudes have made careers off of that. When you have a tight end that can create a mismatch, whether it's by sheer size or route running ability, you have to attack the seams in the middle of the field. I mean, that's football 101. So why it has taken so long, I have no idea. I have no idea, brother. But you're absolutely correct. So yeah, my very first note was Derek Harmon looking strong out there. That boy was punishing whoever was in front of him, pushing them back into the backfield quite often. Like I said, if you're looking forward to see how many tackles or sacks he had or didn't have, you wouldn't understand that he's looking like he might be a problem out there. And I would like to have seen more of him. Let me explain. There were times where he did play deep into the second half of the game, but I felt like we could have seen more of him in not Loudermilk. No disrespect to Loudermilk, but I feel like, man, guys like that, you kind of know what you got, right? Yeah, you want to rotate them, just to give guys a breather and all of that, but I would have liked to have seen just a bit more of Harmon, like more. Because it was some of those, if y'all pay attention, he didn't get a lot of the snaps early in the game. A lot of them were going to Loudermilk. And I forget who else was beside Loudermilk. Can't remember who they started off with, but I remember when I first saw Harmon come in the game, he kind of came in exchange for Loudermilk. And I'm like, come on, man. Please. We could have seen more of him. But the boy looked strong. He looked like he's going to be a problem. And again, I can't wait till I go back and watch the game a second time, because then I'm also going to focus on the defensive line. I'm going to look at, again, Harmon, who I watched tonight. But when I get a chance to sit down with it and watch it more, I'm going to pay more attention to Y.A. Black as well to see what he did or didn't do, as well as guys like Leal. I think there were times where Leal might have been playing on the outside or playing as an edge. So I'll definitely take a look at that. So I definitely want to see what Y.A. Black did in the game. Because like I told you guys, again, this is knee-jerk reaction type of video. I can't say I saw each and everything just watching it in real time. I never do, right? But I'm going to concentrate on the trenches when I watch the game for a second time. A couple other things I wanted to notate. Brandon Echols. Brandon Echols made some plays out there, man, enough for me to, to catch an eyebrow raise like, okay. Mike Tomlin pretty much said that he's going to exclusively be working on the outside. Okay. I'm good with that. Again, it's one game, but again, this dude is a veteran. He played for the Jets. I'm kind of familiar with him when he was with the Jets. I can't say how much I did or didn't see of him with the Jets, but I'm already cool with him being that fourth man in rotation in terms of being on the outside, because he kind of showed you, what he had to offer a bit tonight. And like I said, our defense that we put out there tonight was facing against, early in the game, they faced off against the starting lineup offensively for the Jacksonville Jaguars. So I wanted to definitely give Brandon Echols his shout. Definitely made a couple of plays that you would remember from tonight's game. Round of applause, man, to Tarkus Box. I appreciate it, man. Appreciate the donation. Appreciate the Wonder Bread. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm with you. Wish the DLs and the outside linebackers could have gotten home to the QB more. I'm with you. I'm definitely with you. But also, man, I look at it like, some of these guys, man, just getting their feet wet. Some of these guys are early on in their careers. Their first preseason game, camp kind of just started. So my thing is, I'm always the type of guy that I like to allow the engine to rev up and warm up. I don't look at the first preseason game and have too many critiques. It's kind of like a first glance. And maybe that's what you're saying too, but I'm always with you with anybody saying I would like to see us get to the quarterback more. But just sharing the opposite side of that from the way I view it. You know what I mean? But I agree with you 100%. What else did I have, guys? Listen, Mason Rudolph looked good out there, man. I don't know if that's something that I need to say or if it's something we really care about, given the fact that, we've seen the Mason Rudolph show before. Mason Rudolph has shown us, let's think about those 3 games that he played to take us into the playoffs that year, that last stint he had with us. He's shown us that he could be efficient in the offense. Maybe not a superstar, maybe not if things break down, but he could be efficient. So I don't think there's an element of surprise there. If I had to say anything, I guess I would say it's good to see that he's still efficient, right? He looked good out there, man. He looked in command of the offense and did what he had to do. Enjoyed it. But also the next thing I wrote here, Skylar Thompson looked good, man. Now, granted, I'm sure he's playing against second and third stringers. And, we do that a lot, guys. We often say, oh, well, it was the third string. Oh, well, it was the second string. They're still NFL players. They're still guys who were productive in college. You still got to go out there and perform. So I don't put too much stock in who you played against. Yes, you heard me say earlier in the show, I acknowledge that the defense we had out there played against the Jags starting offense. That is significant. But at the same time, I'm not going to hold a unit who they play. I'm not going to hold that against them. You understand what I'm saying? So I definitely will say that, listen, man, Skylar Thompson looked good. And I'm not so familiar with him as a Steeler, obviously. I'm a little familiar with him in his Miami days, but not enough for me to know what he was going to give us or not give us. The only interesting point when it comes to him is what happens, right? Does he stick on the roster? They're not going to keep 4. You don't expect them to not keep Will Howard. He's a draft pick. So Skylar Thompson, I don't know what's gonna happen there. We'll see. Is a 6th round draft pick uncuttable? No. Could you try to sneak him on your practice squad? No, but you could probably sneak. I don't know if Skylar Thompson might be able to be put on the practice squad, because I know you can do veterans now. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with him. But again, one game, but I got to give him his flowers and say, he handled himself well and was efficient with the offense. Round of applause again, man, to Tarkus Box. I appreciate the Wonder Bread, sir. I figured this question would come up from somebody. Thoughts on Hurlman as a running back wide receiver? On that little drive, I think he represented himself well, man. A nice catch downfield, not just a touchdown, but a nice catch downfield down the seam. That was good. I'm looking at him right now as realistically, he's probably going to end up being a practice squad guy, if anything, because there's another guy that I'm going to talk about here that showed a little bit of flash in that fourth quarter, Lou Nichols. Number 35, he showed a little bit of pop there in the fourth quarter. So, the competition is probably wide open from receiver. They said it on the broadcast, and I agree. Receiver number 3 down through 5, the competition is thick right there in terms of the current depth chart. I do wish, though, I wanted to see more even from Caleb Johnson. Caleb Johnson had a couple moments. I think there was a block or so he may have missed. And, he had a couple strong runs, but then he had some runs where he was met in the backfield. So I wish we could have saw more of Caleb Johnson. Again, me personally, I don't think you needed to see. I think Gainwell came out to start the game. I would like to have seen more of Caleb Johnson with the ones, right? With the real offensive line. I would have liked to have seen him stay out there with them a bit more, or at least give him a little more opportunities. He had a drop ball as well. He caught one. And again, man, I'm not concerned about Caleb Johnson, guys. Again, I have no doubt that this kid will be able to play the way we've seen him play in college. I think running back is one of the easier things to adjust to in terms of being effective early on in your career. Of course, he'll have to be good or try to be his best in pass pro. That's what's going to make him or break him, especially in Pittsburgh. But I have no doubt that once he gets a feel for it and the game starts to slow down for him, he's going to be a dynamo back there along with Jaylen Warren. So, but again, I would like to have seen a little more of him personally tonight. What did y'all say? Nathan says we're going to put Skylar Thompson on the practice squad. Yeah, probably so. Probably so. I would imagine that as well. I would imagine that as well. Yeah, the Nichols showed me a little something, man. Lou Nichols. Showed me a little, piqued my interest a little bit. What else did I want to talk about, guys? That's pretty much it, man. Hold on. I know it's one other somebody I wanted to talk about. I'm trying to remember who. Trying to think. I already talked about Thompson. I already talked about Johnson, wanting to see him more. I already talked about Mason Rudolph. Talked about Derek Harmon. I wish I could have seen a little more of Sebastian Castro as well. It was good to see Carson Bruner out there, getting some opportunities. You saw him on special teams. But I definitely wish I would have seen a little more from Sebastian Castro. Who else? A lot of receivers out there, man. A lot of receivers. Rock Taylor got a catch. One of those Johnson kids, what's his name? Keywan Johnson or something like that. Whoever number 85 had a few catches. I'm sure a lot of those guys are realistically just, practice squad kids. That Jamison kid, I thought he had some pretty decent kick returns. So we shall see if maybe he can stick as a pure returner, or if the Steelers plan on using Gainwell in that capacity. So, yeah. Oh, look, the master of music just said that Jameson wants a spot on the roster. Yeah. See, and that's what I'm saying, guys. These are the guys that kind of perked up for us, right? They did enough for us to say, oh, that was decent. He's definitely one of them. Trey Sermon, that's going to be an interesting one, man. Not that he did anything wrong. Trey Sermon, in my opinion, and this is not a disrespect to him, as you guys remember, I was high on him. Me and Kenyon we both kind of looked at him as a later round back when he came out. Trey Sermon will be an easy cut, if you will, right? Because yeah, he's a veteran, but is there enough there to keep him over one of the other guys, right? Somebody that you can sneak on the practice squad, like some of the other guys I talked about, like the Nichols guy. And so I don't know if Trey Sermon lands, stays. I don't know. But I will say I don't know if he did enough. You understand what I'm saying? Can't say he did enough to guarantee that he sticks on the team. What else, guys? I'm only going to give it a few more minutes. We're almost at 30 minutes, and we'll cut it right there. What else? Anything else? Anything else? You guys? Anything else, you guys? Who else stood out for you guys? Anybody else? Even if I said their name, just throw them out there. Who else? Who else stood out to you guys? Who else were you pleased at seeing? Who else did you want to see more from? And again, taking it in consideration, that is just the very first preseason game of the year. Me too, Master of Music. I definitely wanted to see a little more of Roman Wilson. And if I'm not mistaken, from my purview, my POV, and you football guys correct me if I'm wrong, it looked like Roman was playing more of the Z tonight when he lined up outside. I think I saw him inside in the slot once. But when we were in, I want to say there was a 12 personnel package I saw early in the game, and Roman was playing the Z. Yeah, I don't think he was at the X because he wasn't the solo receiver. But yeah, I definitely wanted to see a little more of Roman tonight. But yeah, if again, like I said, if my POV is correct, I saw him running the Z quite a bit for the period of time he was in there. What y'all got? Okay, yeah, Kenya says, yeah, he was in the Z. That's what I thought. I thought he was a Z tonight. Oh, yes, absolutely, Steeler card. See, I knew it was something else I wanted to talk about, and Kenyon said this a little earlier. The game was a bit vanilla, if you will, as it should be around this time of the year, but Arthur Smith called a great game, man. I'm not upset at all in the way he called that game tonight. And again, it's not just about whether the plays worked or not, the mixed bag. I actually have a note on my computer that says mixed bag of plays. Thoroughly appreciated how he called the game tonight. Like I said, there was a healthy dose of play action. There was straight dropbacks. There were some plays I saw under the center. We ran the ball. You know, it was a mixed bag. Utilizing Darnell Washington down the seam. Like, yeah, got to give Arthur Smith his credit, man. He played well. Yeah, Nathan, absolutely. That's not even a question. That Roman Wilson definitely makes the roster. You shouldn't even have that question. CT Pittman says Peyton Wilson look like he's ready. Dude has put on a little more muscle. Yeah, he did look a little jacked, right? Why Diggy says I wanted to see more of Roman, but the catch he made in the middle of the field is a good sign. I like Nichols, Harmon, Washington, Peyton Wilson with the communication. Yeah, I saw Wilson out there talking a little bit, man, without your boy, without Queen being out there. That was good to see. All right, guys, we're right at about 30 minutes, so I'm about to cut it here. Hold on. We scored on the opening drive. Yeah, right? That's something we're not accustomed to seeing. Okay, yeah, I knew I wrote it somewhere, Kenyon. I had it on my computer, but I thought, so I sent that to Kenyon and Tony. It was like, yeah, man, Arthur was in his bag tonight, man. That was good call. Good game, man. Diggy says it was also good to see Cole Holcomb out there. Really was, man. Y'all know I was big on Cole Holcomb, man, from his Washington days. This is the best CB room we've had in a long time. Absolutely. It's funny that these guys are elder statement, but definitely. And like I said, man, saw a couple things out of Brandon Echols, man, that I appreciate. He says, I gotta watch. Gerald Williams says, I gotta watch the game again because I'm hyping the heck out of Harmon and Black. They look like superstars. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I'm gonna go back and reanalyze. But again, without question, I could say Harmon was, whoever was in front of him, he was pushing him in the backfield. That boy looked very strong out there. But like I said, when I go intently watch the trenches, I'll be able to say exactly what Y.A. Black did as well. Because I can't say I was watching him so much. I kind of honed in on Harmon. So now that I know who played, I can really go identify those guys by number and really pay attention to it. So, yeah, very good tackle, C.T. Pittman by number 39 at the end. Very, very good technique tackle right there. So it was cool. But all right, guys, I'm going to get out of here, man. Just a quick video. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Oh, yes. Nathan Manco. Thank you. Hold on. Jack Sawyer. I knew it was another person I wanted to talk about. Jack showed a little pop tonight, too. Yes, he did. At first, I was going to get on him and YA for not making the sack on old boy late in the game, but homeboy just threw up a Hail Mary backwards. Jack Sawyer had a couple good pressures tonight. He absolutely did. So again, Jack is another one. Man, that I was really paying attention to. And he showed, he showed some stuff, man. Even early in the game, he showed a little bit of a plan with an early rip. I look at technique and all that. Doesn't matter if they make the play. But Jack Sawyer absolutely showed a little something. He played on both sides. He played on the left and the right tonight. So that was the other guy that I wanted to talk about. That is the other guy. Absolutely. Thank you, Nathan, for reminding me of that, man. Thank you. Yeah, Pierre. Yeah, James Pierre. It might be the end of the road for you, brother. But we'll see. But all right, guys, that's gonna do it. Y'all know the routine. Listen, man, if you haven't already, you like what you see, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Outside of that, y'all know what I'm gonna tell you. Please make sure you guys are staying safe out there. Stay healthy. God bless. Good night. Like always, I thank each and every one of you guys for tuning in. Football is back. And on Tuesday, we're going to talk a little bit about Will Howard. I got a POV that I want to address in regards to Will Howard, man. But all right, I'll catch y'all in the next one. Y'all be good. Peace. Hold on real quick. Shout out to Shador. Good job, sir. And don't get me started about Jackson Dart. I see y'all on Tuesday. Peace.